Hello, my computer duders. Sorry for the delay. It was only 2 minutes delay. Traffic was really nasty. I keep forgetting it gets darker around 5 p.m. Let me see. I want to play some PC Engine, and then I'm going to play some Blinx the Time Sweeper. Maybe one or two other things. That was exhausting. Man, I hate driving on the highway in the city and whatnot. Not my favorite. You're getting a lot of use out of those. Hold on. I might have project windows open. I do. I don't want some of those things to be revealed yet. Should I show the video? No, I'll show the video later when more people are here. It's not technically done yet. It's still got a little work yet to do. I can't pronounce this. Ginga, Fukei, Densetsu, Sapphire. I'm just gonna call it Ginga Binga. Ginga Binga Bottle of Inga. Oh shit! It doesn't support windowed full screen. Hang on. Okay. There we go. Look at these graphics already. Again, this is CD title. Does this not work? It does work. Look at that animation. Now for some Hideo Kojima type shit, where it's a 3-hour cutscene for 15 minutes of gameplay. It was a good year, despite that. 91. We already had Super Nintendo and Russia was still playing Dendy. Dendy was, I think, brand new in Russia in 91. Yes, I understand completely. This was the last PC Engine title ever released. Same year as the Super Nintendo released in North America. It's also considered the most graphically sophisticated. Which of these bug-eyed anime gremlins do you want to be? Do you want to be the tomboy? Yeah, let's go. The uwu? 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 The aloof senpai? Or the quiet, emotionless, deadpan one? Purple, pink, green, or blue? Choose your uwu level. First one gets it. They're all women. This is the most diverse workforce I've ever seen, although none of them are POC. Still waiting. Alright, nobody answered. I'm going to pick purple. Oh, alright. Just in time. Purple indeed. Something, something? Yeah, no, that's terrible. I'm going to try to fix it. Whatever's going on. Oh, look at that fake scaling. That's adorable. God, that must have been really expensive in terms of all the different sprites they had to store in memory. Alright, I'm not proud of that. What's cool about this one is you don't have to choose. In most shooters, you have to choose one upgrade path depending on the color of the power up you pick. You know? Yeah, shmup. Ginga Binga Bottle of Inga doesn't make you choose. You can mix and match them in various ways, but your overall power level continues to increase. Oh, thank you. That's actually a big problem, because the CD music is one of the highlights of this game. I always forget something. It's a little quiet compared to like Gates, Lords of Thunder. See what I mean? And it didn't save me anyway. As cool as his pre-rendered enemies are, realize Genesis could actually render those without doing pre-render. It rendered polygonal real-time enemies in Sylpheed. Or at least it could with Sega CD. Now I'm the red one, I guess. I gotta admit, I'm not really a shmup guy. But they're often interesting just as showpieces for the platform they're on. How'd that get me? Just on situational awareness. Look at the 3D logo coming together. Oh shit, 3D enemy. Look at those vectors. How are they doing that? Let's do this one. Another popular one was Gunhead, which I only learned yesterday. The Gunhead, one of the most well-known shooters on PC Engine, was based on a fucking movie. Not an anime one either, a live-action movie. We're gonna have to watch the trailer for that in a bit. Zero Ranger, yeah, you're not kidding. On Genesis. It's one of the best it has. Dangerous for you to come. Well, you should have told me that when I was like 17. I was doing it 8 times a day. 3 of which were ghost loads. They got pre-rendered shit. Whoa, look at that morphing. Holy shit. It's like we're playing Neo Geo. Doesn't this look like something that would be on Neo Geo? It's like I'm playing Blazing Star or some shit. You know what I always liked as a life system? You start out with like 4 people and they just die permanently, and they function as your lives, like Ninja Turtles. So you feel a real sense of loss as you progress. Look at that dragon! Holy fuck! It's enormous. Look at the size of that sprite. It's like I'm playing Devil's Crush. What the fuck is that? Holy shit! Game over. Fair enough. I failed everyone. I don't know why it does that every time. That's really impressive, though. That's mind-blowing graphics. For 91, that's when SNES came out to American consumers. So that game you just saw would have been up against the likes of Super Mario World and F-Zero. It did get golemed. I didn't like it. Actually, before we do that, we got to look at the Gunhead trailer. Because it has nothing to do with the fucking game, I swear to God. If there is a connection, I can't figure out what it is. Gunhead 1989 trailer. I think there's a US version also. This is a Japanese trailer. Look at how rad this looks.
God, look at this junk. Give it up, Brooklyn.
化け物ロボットやっつけるにはガイドが必要なんだよ。もっと単純な照準ないのかよ。
10 seconds to contact.
いや、わかんないんだって。
When the two markers cross, fire.
初めっからそう言えよ。ガンヘッド君、スタンディングモード。
Roger.
Look at how fucking rad that looks. It's about a robot with a gun for a head. It's called Gunhead. What more could you ask for? I don't know if it's got titties. Probably though. U-card. Gunhead. Tell me what this has to do with it, what you just saw. Boo! No CD soundtrack. You know this was originally going to be the Super Nintendo? Hudson tried to pitch it to Nintendo, thinking they could make it a sequel to the Famicom. It's one of the reasons why it's internally so similar to Famicom. So that it would have backwards compatibility. I'm trying. I have a new album, Samantha Roney. I don't know if you listened to it. By Alex Jones Sings the Classics. Once you know that, you can't unsee it. PC Engine games often look like just roided up NES games with more colors. They use a lot of the same programming tricks to simulate parallax. To wit, there are a number of ports from Famicom to PC Engine. Like this. There's also a PC Engine CD fan port of Mega Man 2. It's the same graphics. They really should have used the Genesis graphics from Wily Wars for that. They didn't, though. It's just NES. But it's got the CD soundtrack from the PSP Mega Man collection. Which I thought was pretty cool. Family collection, Donkey Kong 3. Image. Indeed. It's just Mario Bros. With different color palette. It's on PC Engine. Oh, fuck that music. It runs a little bit fast. It's funny how much better that plays than a lot of other games that came later just because it made better. People understood gameplay very well. A lot of these 16-bit games I can't play for very long, but I can play the original Mario Bros. All day. Spriggan. What is a Spriggan? Does anyone know? Also, what the fuck is a PCFX? Why did NEC do that? How did they see all the 3D graphics stuff going on? They're like, you know what the world needs is a fully FMV-based console. After watching what happened to Sega CD in the US, also, I should point out. How do you watch what happens to Sega CD in North America and you're like, that what we really need is an FMV monster console? Oh, thank you. Spriggan is a forest spirit. It's interesting because a lot of the other 3D consoles like Saturn and PlayStation had add-ons that would enable them to be video CD players, MPEG-2 modules. PCFX was the other way around. It came with the MPEG-2 module built in, and it was planned to have a 3D graphics add-on later. They went about it backwards. Which is really a shame. It has a really interesting form factor for a console. Maybe. That's what I hear in my head whenever I see animations where only the mouth moves. Is that one spoof video of RoboCop NES. Me. What a perfect name for a shooter. It makes perfect sense. This was advertised as a major title for the US TurboGrafx. They had their work cut out for them, though, trying to explain these anime games to US children. Like, a lot of it was probably... one of the things they tried to do was simplify the box art. The TurboGrafx CD games had... The whole fucking range of games had fucking sick box art in Japan. Really amazing stuff. And then they simplified it to be, like, child-friendly. Like a 4-year-old drew it in America, like they did for the Master System cases. Well, I think those were shit everywhere in all regions. I don't know for sure. I know PC Engine had like the kind of art you would normally expect on like a PlayStation case, jewel case. Look out, Green Buddy! Look out, Green... No! He was so young, I assume. I ordered an 8-bit DOE turbo pad. I don't know why I did that. The Xbox has 2 buttons and a D-pad. It's perfectly fine. I just wanted the authentic feeling to own a turbo pad again. I'm probably going to get the 8-bit DOE Neo Geo pad as well because it has the clicky thumbstick. Also, I've been donating plasma a lot lately, so I have more money than sense. I need to save more. But I saved more of it last time and finally managed to. Then I bought a bunch of t-shirts for some reason. I found out the hard way. T-shirts are not equal depending where you buy them. A lot of places prioritize different things. Some of them prioritize comfort, so they have stretchier, softer fabric. But then the logo on the shirt doesn't tend to last as long because it requires the threads staying together. The other companies prioritize the logo lasting for a long time, so they use really stiff fabric that's really uncomfortable to wear. The ones from Redbubble I can wear and they're comfy. The ones from TeePublic are like wearing flexible cardboard. I want you to pay attention to the background layer. There's something really adorable coming up. Instead of having multiple scrolling layers, they have breaks in the clouds. And through the breaks in the clouds, there's a hand-animated scrolling lower layer to impersonate, to give the impression that there's a layer underneath there. But it's really just like a little movie inside of a window shaped like a break in the clouds. If that makes any sense. You'll see what I mean in a bit. Oh, bitch titties. I didn't even live long enough to make it that far. Let me try again. What's the strat? I don't seem to have bombs of any kind. Just don't hit stuff, I guess. Which I already did. Am I supposed to be playing 2-player? Is that supposed to be player 2? I gotta hope not. Again, console makers had really small pee-pee syndrome. Really insecurity and anxiety about graphics during this period. Because ever since TurboGrafx 16 kicked off the Bit Wars, gamers were like, oh, that's a thing? They didn't really make the connection that the jump from Atari to NES was one of hardware power. NES was kind of its own brand new thing, and it was sold as a toy. Once they got in their heads, oh, if I buy a console with more bits, it'll have better graphics. I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah, the company started to get really insecure about their deficiencies relative to one another, which is why Sega started releasing add-ons when they saw that Super Nintendo could do Mode 7 and scaling and stuff. And NEC released the Super Graphics just only to add the ability to scroll an independent background layer. This goes to show there's a life lesson in that. Insecurity that never leads to good decisions. You're usually good enough and you don't know it. Like, it wasn't worth the boondoggle of the Super Graphics just to add the one thing everybody pointed out about the PC Engine that it struggled with, which is background layers. Which added a lot to the cost, shockingly. That was never necessary to compete. They were already competing just fine. They're like Elliot Rodgers. They had no reason to be insecure, but they were because they didn't literally have it all. They had a huge lead. They were even beating Famicom in Japan. So they had no reason to feel like they were like a small dog syndrome, but just because they were always conscious of consumers ruthlessly comparing their console to the competitors, especially after it started to fail in the US also. I don't know what that was. I'm dying, I guess. My liver's coming out. You don't have a bomb in this. You do have a bomb. I'm full of shit. This is an opportunistic one. But like I said, they made some choices. Sega made some choices, and they made worse ones. Sega chose to limit the colors on Genesis to 64 in order to reserve the rest of the palette for Master System backwards compatibility when fucking nobody had one in the US. And that was the biggest Genesis market. I guess they didn't know it would work out that way when they launched it in Japan. Where Genesis was the third place console in Japan, TurboGrafx was the second place, the Super Nintendo. Genesis also left out sprite scaling, despite the fact that many of their biggest arcade titles at the time were heavily reliant on it, and they tried to port them anyway to disastrous, ugly effect. PC Engine made better choices. It left out parallax because there were already ways to fake that convincingly, and it opted for more colors. And most of the feature set a 16-bit console should have. Bigger sprites, faster CPU. It had twice as fast CPU as Super Nintendo, despite being 8-bit. I think it was Thomas Sowell who said there are no choices, only trade-offs. Everything's got pros and cons. It might not have been the exact wording. You get the point, though. Look at the shadows on the clouds. It's Kino. I lost the life to that? There you go, look at that. Look at that break in the clouds, upper left. Watch it. You tricksy little bastards. You think we're going to see that and think there's a layer under that scrolls independently, don't you? That's an animation. That's a looping animation. And it's the same for every break in the clouds. See? It's just flipped here. You precocious little fuckheads. You're a genius. Wow, it's like I'm really playing on a Super Nintendo. Bitch titties. It's hard to keep track of what's going on. But it's stuff like that. Like, they didn't really need... They were so ashamed of the fact their console was secretly 8-bit. And that it couldn't do a background layer independently. That they didn't need to be. They could do just fine without it. I want to do the intro to this, just because it's kind of funny. I don't think I'll play very much. Planet Idea. That's a creative name. Come on, guys, we got to come up with an idea for what to name the planet. Yaha! I'm an anime protagonist, running around and jumping in front of the sun for no reason. What am I? Where am I going? What am I accomplishing? No one knows.
We haven't had such a good harvest of maruga nuts for many years.
Yes, this is a great harvest. Huh? Oh, it's Van. Sounds like he must be off to play somewhere again. Van!
Laura! Laura, what?
Are you asking for a challenge?
Van, stop fooling around. and give
20
us a go.
XDX.
Sorry!
Sorry, princess.
Brain won't give us any strength, silly. You know what? I'll go make a good catch with my trusty spear. You can count on me.
You silly barbarian.
What was the point of that? And yet I'm glad it was in there. I have a saved game? Did I save the game? Or I don't remember. I know I have a save game in Utopia I never finished. They're significantly different games, Utopia 1 and 2. You might think there's no reason to play 1 if you have 2. That's not the case. The latter game is very different in 1. In 1 you go to the Hollow Earth. And this is not working. There we go. We'll go to this tree and do anime protagonist stuff. Oh, look at how pretty. This is what CD-ROM bought you. Is stuff like this would not make room in a cartridge for this when you can store more tiles and more chiptunes.
This place sure brings back a lot of memories.
Look, it's finished. Oh,
There was
man.
limited
This together
cutscenes
forever,
in
right?
NES games.
Yeah, Laura.
They're just
I'll
but
protect
they
you
couldn't
from
waste too much
the
space on that stuff
Really?
because it was a trade-off and very limited cartridge space. With CD you have infinite space, so you can have more of that stuff that you love. Just as much of it as you could possibly handle. Ah. Oh.
Oh my god!
Mein Gott, entire village is balloon
I
smoking.
better get down there.
Oh no, the villains have destroyed my village. Time for my hero's journey. Why not hunting again? Why not play with Laura? Haha, I'm like 10, you sickhead. I'm trying to say sicko, but for some reason I also wanted to say fuckhead, and both of them came out at once. I'm gonna have to pick heal herbs to sell E-I-E-I-O. Blame the localization team. This is nothing but the patriarchy. Ben, you're always full of energy. That's because I'm a typical hothead anime protagonist. That's why every time I talk, my mouth opens to half my face. I'm always running around and jumping over shit. And going, ha! Then please take us to Wham Village. It's safe there. Whatever you say, little girl. 55. Why don't you stop playing Helpless Work? That doesn't sound very adventurous. Be a good one, Lenny. Is this supposed to be the orchard that we saw in the cutscenes? This is a typical farm. This is not trees. May I help you? How can I tempt you today? 60 gold, no. Knife probably has better stats. Let me see what armor is. ADG. Start off with spear. Start off with knife. Okay, do I equip it? There doesn't seem to be any menu. Welcome, stranger. Will you stay the night? No. I don't actually want to save. Don't come crying to me. This is the kind of personality they put into their games. This is like what you'd see from working designs. I'm off to. Oh, I could have sworn there was a funny. What is Wham Village? I feel like I skipped a cutscene or explanation or something. I also don't remember how the combat works in this, come to think of it. It's dangerous to go alone. Take my penis. Isn't it a fine day? I don't know. It's a fine day not to be old. Wham Village. That's a direction. That's a clue. We're on a fairly sizable island. I'm covering a lot of ground on foot. Is this... Oh, no. Here's the village that got hit. And I left immediately. Probably the wise thing to do. Galam's army made a surprise attack. For what purpose? What did he gain from it? There's a wizard called Wisda among them. Look what they did to my expensive house. And just like that, you made me careless. Killed my husband. Sorry to hear that, sprite lady. Sure, he had very many pixels. My inn has been destroyed. How shall I survive? That sets up some story. If I go in the trees, I feel like I'll be attacked. A random battle will start. Is this a dungeon already? Oh, it is a random battle. I need to go save, and I need to get healing items before I try this. So I guess you only get random battles in dungeons. That's an interesting take. I guess it's a relief not being constantly attacked. Also, look at how well blended the overworld is compared to NES games where everything would be square tiles, obviously. They do have Cube. But do they have Cube 2, the sequel? Tetrahedron. Actually, it would be like icosahedron, wouldn't it? Cube 3 would be hypercube. Sweet dreams. What are you implying? I'm gonna save and I'm gonna play some other shit. That's Cosmic Fantasy. Nothing cosmic about it yet. I think you go to space eventually. As I understand it, the latter half of the game is where it gets interesting. Den of the Brain is one I've been meaning to play for a long time. This is only relatively recently translated to English. It's a horror VN. Dead of the Brain 1 or Dead of the Brain 2. It's a collection, apparently. Were these ever released separately? Like on HuCard, I wonder? This couldn't have been a HuCard game. Both of them had too much content. Womp 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 womp. What's that poster of? Finally Home.
だいたい壁塗装なんてパートにやらせりゃいい。社員のお金を使うんだもんな。なんで俺がそんな雑用までやんなきゃいけないんだ。おかげで今日もまた残業だよ。ま、残業って
TurboGrafx 16.
仕方ないか。
It's a zombie-themed visual novel. Notice there's chiptunes. A lot of CD games still had chiptunes so they could free up space for additional graphics. Because unlike a lot of other consoles I could name, they struggled to actually use what I want to say here. They actually filled up the CD with stuff other than just music and FMV, like a Sega CD often did. With graphics. Mush mushy. I'm Cougar. Or Cougar? I don't know why, but Cougar sounds gross. I don't. It's like a crusty booger. My new invention will surprise even you. You won't believe your eyes. This is the sort of thing you would, at that time, only play on PC. Which is also mind-boggling that NEC didn't just release the Turbo Duo as their only console in North America. And leverage the fact they were first to market with the CD-ROM. They also fucked around a long time for, I think, 1 or 2 years redesigning the case. So they gave up like 2 years worth of head start. Yeah, 2 years. 89 this came out in, I want to say 87. And they started preparing to launch in the United States in 88 or 89, I want to say. Oh, you're sweetie. Thank you. Why are you waiting out here for me? I haven't submerged hamsters in a long time, though. I need to get back to that. I need to fix up the old habitat, if nothing else. My neighbors are noisy, and I don't want to attract attention. Really don't want anyone to find out about my research. If I had $1 bajillion, I'd be building human habitats, too. And inviting people to come stay in them. Come on in. Overwhelmed. Who would believe this is in the house of a university professor? Come on, don't say it like that. Since my wife died, research is my only pleasure in life. Hope you can understand. I mean it like that. Don't take it the wrong way. I mean to upset you. This is largely based on Herbert West Reanimator, if I recall. Come on. Here it is again, like a baby. Cole, look out. It's the undead cat. What happened? The cat just now. Cole, were you bitten at all? Did you get scratched? No, I'm okay. But more importantly, was that your cat? Yes, that was Kitty. That was Kitty. Why would your pet cat attack us? Did it have rabies? No, the cat died over a week ago. Don't be silly. It attacked me just now. Are you telling me that the cat was your quiet kitty? It has rabies, right? Be honest. I'm not with the health department. Cole, it's not like that. Kitty doesn't have rabies. What is it then? What do you mean it died a week ago? Yeah, this is basically verbatim. This is the plot to Reanimator, if you've seen that film. Calm down. Just listen, Cole. Kitty died a week ago. Natural causes. She definitely didn't have rabies. When I found Kitty's body, I had just made a sample of a reanimation serum. Reanimation? You mean like to bring the dead back to life? Yes, I felt so sorry for Kitty. I tested it out on her there and then. I don't get it. There's no such thing as reanimation serum. I know you're a great scientist and all, but this sounds like something out of a B-movie. It was, in fact. I understand why you don't believe it. It's a normal reaction. Even if you don't understand it, you need to accept it as fact. What are you doing? Whether you understand it or not, I'm going to show you. Check that she's dead. It'll be strange to still be alive after being shot so many times, right? Don't go any further, I believe you. No, you don't believe me. You think I'm going crazy. I think you need to see it with your own eyes. Liquid in this syringe is the reanimation serum. While I administer it, look at your watch. Data so far indicates that it should take 13 seconds. Starting now. So if you've ever said what I really would like is a Herbert West Reanimator VN on TurboGrafx CD, the universe has got you, bro. This movement is neither death-related convulsions nor rigor mortis. And don't tell me that you don't believe it. I must be dreaming. It's not a dream. As you see, the cat is moving. It's amazing, Doc. You'll get the Nobel Prize for sure. Let's announce it ASAP. When are you going to announce it? It's not ready to be announced yet. As I said, the serum is still a prototype. It's complete. The serum has some side effects which aren't yet understood, and the revived specimens seem to have an increase in violent tendencies. The zombies in a movie? Well put. Well, it hasn't been tried on humans, so I'm not sure. If I tried on humans, I'd be a criminal. I'm a scientist, not a doctor. Loses its docile traits. I'd never heard of cats attacking humans unprovoked, other than rabies, as you mentioned. Is that so? Kitty, why did you attack people? You have a motive? Why are you talking to it? The creature revived by the serum has several times the strength that it had when alive. Actually, muscles are strong enough to break the bones that they're connected to. Normal animals have the instinct to control that power in order to save their bodies. This is Officer Jack Keithman from the 16th Precinct. Open the door, Mr. Cougar. Shit, Doc, it's the police. Open the door, Mr. Cougar. Stay in here, do me a favor, and put the cat in the refrigerator or something. Be sure not to let it bite you. Okay. Officer, what brings you here this hour? The house is so old I can hear the conversation in here in the lab. Well, Mr. Cougar, we received a complaint from the neighbors about a strange hellcat. This was much awaited. This is one of the more anticipated fan translation projects. This is why it's great to be a Turbo graphics fan, because there's a huge backlog of games that were supposed to be gradually translated for the American market that never were. And now here in 2023, we're still getting new CD translations. Little by little. It's like... you can pretend that it's still a relevant console, because they're new to you. Oh yes, there are a lot of stray cats around here, and they howl at night. Bothers me too, but it's odd that they would call the police about something like this. Stray cats howling. And it was the weakest, technically. It had an 8-bit CPU, even if it was twice as fast as the Genesis CPU or the Super Nintendo. It had two 16-bit chips. One of them was a PPU and one was a GPU. But you got a lot of bang for your buck. The PC Engine was tiny. Remember how small that was? It's a cute little fella. It's small. It's a wee babby console. It's a tiny little fella, but it packs a punch, and it was really affordable. Although not by the time it made it to the U.S. for some reason. It was $10 more than Genesis, and Hue cards were more expensive than cartridges, despite holding less data. I don't know what happened there. Which is why they should have shipped the Duo as their only console, because despite the fact it was more expensive, Sega CD proved people are willing to pay for CD technology. They could have beat everybody to the punch, and the games themselves are cheaper. So you sell more of them, and you sell the console at a loss. NEC never understood that. They were always trying to make a profit on the consoles. They sold it for $400 when Sega CD, just the add-on, was $300. Which, they made a big deal about pointing out that you needed a $180 Genesis to use with your $300 Sega CD. So it's really $480 in total for the Sega CD. But American consumers are bad at math. American consumers thought that a quarter pound was more than a third pound because 4 is a bigger number than 3. So if your CD add-on for the Genesis is $300 and you're selling TurboGrafx for $400, all they see is CD technology costs this much for Sega, and it costs more for NEC, and I don't know anything about NEC, but I know that Sega has the funny Fast Hedgehog mascot. Please try not to touch anything. It's really eerie how beat for beat this follows the plot. This diverged quite a bit already from the short story, which I've also read. This seems to be based more on the movie, and more on, I want to say, on the second one than the first one, because the second one was more focused on the police officer and bringing animals back. Yeah, I'm what Japanese people think that Westerners look like. Pleased to meet you. I'm cheesed to meet you, and they'll never find the bodies. I'm Jack Keithman. What Japanese people think that Americans' names are like. What are you two doing here in the middle of the night? We're planning a party soon, and I came by to discuss with Doc, the professor. I see. By the way, Mr. Cougar, what kind of research do you do here? Primarily research on cancer cells. My rivals always get the edge on me, though. I guess I'm getting old. What was that sound? The stray cat in the backyard. The garbage collection area is in my backyard, so they gather here for dinner. There's also a graveyard for dessert. Haha, I see. Don't accidentally become the salad. So I guess I'll be on my way. If you don't accidentally become the salad? Do you mean like side dish? Appetizer? See anything strange, let me know. Good evening. Wait a moment. Didn't you hear some kind of sound coming from the refrigerator over there? No, that refrigerator only contains medical supplies. There it is again, coming from over there. Can I open the door? As you please. Doc, no, why don't you say no? Be suspicious if I refuse. The data so far indicates that revived animals die again within 2 minutes. That cat is still alive? What should we do? Oh. They really killed him? Shouldn't it just be that he bit him and they carried the thing to the hospital? It's too late. Jack's throat has been slashed and the carotid artery and jugular. Wow, really? That's like my cat. What about Kitty? Kitty is completely dead. With the last of her energy, she cut Jack's throat. What are we gonna do? As it is, it looks like we're the killers. Got it. It'll be okay if we can revive him. Doc, say something. We should go to the police. He is the police. You doubted the ability of the serum. Why do you think the police? You're wasting precious time. If the rules of the movie apply here, the fresher the body, the less brain damage there is. You really, ideally, in an ideal world, I always thought about when I watched the movie and read the story, I wanted a sequel set in a world where reanimation is perfected and standard and mandatory. So in every hospital, while you're on your deathbed waiting to die, they would have it hooked up to the IV already, ready to go, or even injected directly into your brain at the microsecond of death, so that there would be the least possible amount of deterioration. Electric chair of the gas chamber, sniffing cyanide. Anyway, what can we do? They didn't catch us. Kitty bit Jack's throat, didn't she? Do you have a plan? Serum is originally virus. The sample isn't pure enough. It's crawling with live microbes. Mucous membrane infection. In other words, bitten or scratched, you will be infected. Virus will enter the open wound and travel to the brain. Jack is going to become a zombie. I don't know. As I said before, it hasn't been tested on a human even once. Only one thing. So it's combining Reanimator with Night of the Living Dead. The body is so much larger than the cat, and the amount of virus transmitted was minuscule. Time until the effect appears. Unless the cat might revert to a wild form. Humans are more irrational than beasts. Humans are different from cats in that they have no violent tendencies. That's not true. It's far from true. We just watch him, see if he revives. Doesn't work for goners, right? Something happens. Use this gun. You should have injected him right away. 15 seconds. This would work on humans. This was a scene in the movie too. Must have been dreaming. Look, his eyes are moving. Being guard to shoot. Jack, he's alive. Jack, can you hear me? It's me, Cougar. Jack, can you hear me? Jack, it's me. Gua! Doc, look out. No matter how times I shoot, he's not dying. Cole, run. I'll be right behind you. Let's get out of here together. Why would you make it out of a virus, knowing that it'll be infectious? The graveyard. Cougar, let's go through here. It'll slow him down. It'll lead him right to more dead bodies. After all, the human race's ancestors are apes. Don't make excuses. What's that bag you're carrying? It's the serum. Is he still following us? Persistent bugger. I saw a series based upon the possibility of curing zombies, so to speak. Or injecting them with something that makes them still undead but rational enough they don't try to bite you. Oh, of course. The serum. Doc, Jack is coming. Let's go. The serum, you can always make more. Alright, let's go. Look at that CD animation. Who stopped it? Oh, was that a reference? It was. That was all just a prelude. We weren't even playing anything. It was just a cutscene. Doc, things are bad. What should we do? How long should we continue running from a killer zombie policeman? I'll be specific. Cougar. I can't take him seriously when his name is Cougar. Sounds like something that would be made up for Half-Life AI. Did you see the cop? He's from another world. Doc, what are you gonna do? Calm down and listen to me. That serum is just prototype. Limit to long jacks. How long can you stay revived? I think it's very long. When it wears off, we have to find the corpse. Probably he's dying again. Somewhere now. His dead body. We'll find his dead body. We'll go to the police. When we go to the cops, aren't we gonna be arrested and get the death penalty? I'm worried about the death penalty. Just upset about how I wasted my short life being around you. Oh, savage. Something even worse that could happen. I could put my finger in your butthole. The thing I worry most about is whether Jack will bite somebody else. I don't think infection by biting is a problem. Kitty bit me and nothing happened. If Kitty had bitten another cat, would have been infected. Similarly, if a human bites a cat, it won't get infected. But it's the same virus. It doesn't make any sense. I don't think that pans out. Infectious between humans? Yes. Used that way. Look. Look at the poster. Oh, it's got a lot of titty posters. Do you know the movie Dawn of the Dead? Dawn of the Zombies, I couldn't quite do it. It's that one corpse in New York created an army of zombies. And New York became a ghost town. But it might happen here. I don't think that was a real film. That movie, zombies were killed by guns. Why didn't the policeman die? What's the difference between a movie and reality? Nerves aren't. Blood also won't circulate. Only the brain is reanimated. So you should be able to kill them by shooting the brain. That doesn't make sense. I can't switch down the row of, Anyway. We'll play more of that. Actually, I should probably save state, shouldn't I? I don't know how to fix that, either. Save state. And that's all the PC Engine for this evening. We're going to be playing some Blinx or Time Sweeper next. How would anyone tell the difference? Especially with zombie rats. There's a lot of weird English and also a lot of fun. I enjoy it. Mashups of horror movie plots in Dead of the Brain 1 and 2. That's part of the fun. It's made by horror movie lovers, very obviously. There's a lot of references and little Easter eggs referencing well-known horror movie properties. You know the reason EA published only one title, I believe, on PC Engine CDs because they got offended. They were approached at a press event where it wasn't a press event, it was like a developer conference where they wanted to show off the hardware to developers and get people interested in developing for PC Engine CD. And they said, have you got what it takes to make a great PC Engine CD game? Or what's your experience with CD games on other platforms? And they got all offended and said, like, how dare you cast aspersions on EA? How dare you even ask us that? It was a legit question. A lot of devs didn't really know what to do with CD storage space on Sega CD, so they just took Genesis games, ported them, and added CD audio and FMV. Whereas a lot of PC Engine devs knew what they were doing and made such good use of this CD storage space for graphics, they didn't even have room for CD audio. Except for voices. Voice acting, honestly, voice acting and graphics are a better use of CD storage space than even the music, although I do prefer CD music. Nope, that doesn't count. How do you get that one? You don't rewind? That didn't go well. How do I get that and not die? Oh, you know, it's got to be the record. I got to get it as the little green feller. Which means I need to have green going into the level. Right. Can I go back up the slide? No. Nope. Trying to figure it out. Can I buy crystals from the store? There's got to be a way to. Someone's got to sweep the time. It won't sweep itself. Can I... Will this work? Hang on. Nope. That's not how you do it. I'm gonna go grind for records. Some crystals yes, other crystals no, apparently. $4,000, nowhere even, no, nowhere close. I don't even know what I have right now. Let's go back and grind. This fucking first track slaps so hard it's unbelievable. Already got everything here, I think. What I don't have is the one behind the weight. $16 tons. Nope, not enough. Oh, now it's giving me record crystals. Let's just stock up. Crazy to think this was 2 generations away from TurboGrafx. TurboGrafx was Generation 3, this was Generation 6. Shit was advancing so quickly that back then. How many generations has it been since 360? I want to say 2 or 3. There's the 1, the 1X, and the 1S or some shit. We're on PS5, so it's been 2 generations since PS3. Three generations since PS2, which was three generations since Xbox also. Feel some pauses. He records. The only one left in that one is behind the weight. How do y'all like Grab by the Ghoulies? Was that a fun playthrough? I had a lot of fun. It's one of the most fun ones I've done in a while. I want a sequel, but it's hopeless. That's the most hopeless sequel. They even set it up. They set up Grab by the Ghoulies in an entire spooky haunted town, like Halloween town. This is Halloween. This is Halloween. Suck my ween. Halloween. Suck my ween. Halloween. Hail Jack the Pumpkin King. Something sitting on his pumpkin throne. Everybody, time to suck the pumpkin bone. Is this a trap? Ain't nothing but a chicken wing. I had a great time. Rare was still at the top of their format back then. Every ounce of that game was charming. Every enemy had its own personality. And a funny little voice and funny animations. Oh no, Tom. Oh, there's a Tom. Nope. Already got that one. I need to record. It's not giving me even one record. Goddamn, Xbox was the complete package. Every so often, it wasn't. I don't think the best console overall. That's honestly probably the PS2. There's a variety of games on it, but when there was a good game on Xbox, it was really good. Get your Halos, you got your Blinx Time Sweepers, you got your Grab by the Ghoulies, you got your Panzer Dragoons. And it was made all the better by being on a really graphically resplendent console. It could do things none of the other machines could. It was a luxury. It was a nice thing to have in the 2000s. Most people went with PS2 just because of the game selection. PS2 always looked really ugly though. The graphics looked ugly. It had only 4 megabytes of texture memory. Blurry ass N64 textures, which they tried to compensate for by making them lower color. So they didn't take up as much space in memory. Everything on PS2 just looked crisp at the edges, but the textures were blurry and muddy. Even Dreamcast looks sharper and more colorful, because it had 8 megabytes dedicated to video and 8 megabytes to system. That's a total of 16 megabytes across the whole system. It had a lot. Dreamcast had an uncommon amount of RAM for the period. I'm still surprised when I go back and play Sonic Adventure, when I look at the grass, I'm like, holy shit, that's high resolution. Like, how the fuck is there like a 1024 by 1024 texture for grass in a game from 1999? It's super sharp. At the cost of never having any shaders, though. Trade-offs. Like the PC Engine. More bang for your buck through clever, careful trade-offs. Dreamcast still looks good with a VGA out. It's 640 by 480, but if you can see every pixel, it's not too bad. Especially if it's a smaller monitor. I also really liked the machine. It was cool looking. I like the controllers. The controllers fit my giant hands really well. Fuck, are you kidding me? It's a little bit awkward combat. This is why both the sequel and the fan remake of this game allow you to aim your sweeper. What are you doing? Sprinkling and barely enough record crystals throughout the entire stage that I can't even get one. Not even one. And there's another weight at the end I can't pick up because I don't have the special sweeper yet. PSO? Is it which version? Is it a PC version? Is there a PC version? I thought it was only GameCube and Dreamcast. I remember people really liking that. I bought it myself, but only to use with a a load line piracy device, which I never figured out how to use anyway. Time to grind. Rise and grind, fellow gamers. I don't like these levels as much. Forgotten City's okay. Actually, that's a bit difficult. Forgotten City's where the game really starts to get hard. It's still pretty, PSO. It has that Y2K Dreamcast aesthetic to everything. So I still have memories of how the jungles looked in that game. They were fond, dopamine-releasing memories. Alright, give me the green crystals. Crystals. You get that gold, too. Give me green crystals, fucker. I need lots of records. Yeah, Sega always did release their games on PC. There's some Saturn games that came on PC. They needed the money around that time. They also released a Saturn graphics card that would run Saturn games on your computer, if I recall correctly. But it rendered in quads, so nobody else used it. Do I have all the secrets for this stage? I don't. Whatever. YOLO. How many secrets do I have in that one? I think I missed one near the end. I got none of the secrets in that stage. Secrets don't really get me much, though. I'm gonna go through it again. I got enough records now. Damn, I love OG Xbox. You gotta taste that sweet COD money, though. And subscription money for Xbox Live, and that became their whole business model. You just get people hooked on services. And watch the money roll in. remember being disappointed by GameCube. I don't know why. I expected it to be like a generational leap over Dreamcast, and it wasn't. It just looked like more Dreamcast, for the most part. At least the launch titles did. It took a while until Metroid Prime actually looked like something that couldn't have been done on Dreamcast. Dreamcast felt like its own generation, and it wasn't. It was in the same generation. I don't know why. It was slightly better. It was slightly better. Xbox was the wow factor I was looking for, though. When I first saw Xbox in a store at a kiosk playing Dead or Alive 3, and their movements left trails in the snow, like their footprints in the snow, I was like, holy shit. This is an entirely different fucking ball game. I had to have those Nintendo exclusives, though. Couldn't wait, even though GameCube would be emulatable pretty soon after that. The nice thing about Xbox Original, though, is you could chip it, which I did, and emulate fucking everything on it. It would emulate everything up to N64 perfectly. I really didn't get this one before? I guess not. Oh, fuck. No, I wasted it. It pushed me off. How was I supposed to know that would happen? Well, time to do the same thing over again. And the crystal collecting is the bane of this game. It's never the ones you need when you need them. I'm a simple man, though. I get monkey brain. Cool console, cool looking controller, cool looking machine. Good marketing. With a colorful platformer with some kind of cool gimmick. And you have a happy, happy hen dad. Which makes it funny that Blue's Journey was the only proper platformer on Neo Geo. And it looks not great. It looks like something that could have been done on Super Nintendo. Wait, why did I lose my records? Where did my records go? Can I not store that many? So they get more longevity out of the game, forcing you to replay levels. Somehow I still don't have what I need. I need 4,000 gold for the one that I want. There's one thing I do need, though. Time holder. Can't buy the time holder. Well, they don't have any more. Xbox felt like a console made for me, though. Big ass controller, designed by the same people who made the Sidewinder. It was a console for PC bros, basically. Were coming from PC and willing to try out consoles. What is this? Is it a retry holder? Why would I waste anything on cosmetics? See if there's another time holder. There are. Time to grind again. We got pretty far before we had to grind. What other games are like that, where you think you're at the end, but you run into a wall where you need the stuff you were supposed to be grinding for the whole time? I have no fucking idea where any of the others could be. It's really kind of surprising to go back and play this and look at the textures and be like, wait a minute, I remember those being normal mapped. If not parallax map, but that's your fucking rose-tinted glasses. The textures were better than PS2 in terms of resolution and color, but there weren't shaders all over everything yet. That wasn't until 360. Even 360 didn't have shaders on everything all the time. Perfect Dark Zero was the first game that showed off parallax mapping to me. That was the first time I ever saw it. I was astonished. The people were astonished by his doctrine. Bitcoin going down again. It was going up for a while. I'm going to wait until it's where it was when I got back in. I'm going to pull out and I'm never looking back. And then I'm going to put that money into Roth IRA like I should have done to begin with. If I'd done that back in like 2016 or 2017, 2018, I would have a shitload of money by now. I don't make good choices. This probably could have been done without a hard drive. It's just recording a demo for movements. You don't need that much space to record the movement of actors in the game world. But it's like blast processing. It's just marketing speak to bring attention to what their console has the others don't. I think someone proved blast processing was nothing really. Super Nintendo could do Sonic the Hedgehog. Easy peasy. Yeah, I'll use this and get the cat medal. Yeah, the hard drive did come in handy eventually for DLC. Some of the first DLC in the industry. Not all of it was even downloadable. There was on-disc DLC. Remember that? Remember that atrocious travesty? Where it's on the disc and you have to pay to unlock it? At the time, they're like, we'll never lock features behind DLC. It'll always be extra on top of a complete game. Look at how long that lasted. Let's see if my hypothesis is accurate. Nope. Did I not get it right? What am I not understanding? Did I pass through it? Does that not count? I must have missed it, right? It doesn't work. How are you supposed to grab that one? I'll just have to ignore it. Doesn't count either. Unless... No, I didn't fall on the spikes, asshole. I think I can do this. I think if I put this down there, I can land on it. I think that's what you're supposed to do. Let me try something. I have an idea. He laughs like a little baby. No, it didn't work. This is gonna be a hard one to get. Need one to land on and one to jump to. He laughs like a little happy German child. These two. No, that didn't work. A little bit more over here. There we go. No! Fucking... Almost. No, you know what? Fuck this. I don't care about the secret anymore. We're not getting it. I'm grabbing all this stuff, though. Why do I care about the secret medals? They get you an item you can't use by the end of the game. And little cutscenes that are worth nothing. I kill him. That's why you do that. I see. Iframes. Those are some beastly iframes. Oh, sick, the little beat boops. This is underappreciated OST by me. I'm the one who underappreciates it. Isn't there one more? There's not one more. Good. Look at how fucking hard this game gets. Yet. Holy shit. Oh fuck. It's like TikTok clock. Really? I'm in a death loop. Cheating? Maybe you might say. Necessary? Yes, also. Definitely yes. Basic combat pretty fun. Super Mario Bros. 2 with a vacuum. Pick up objects in the environment and throw them. I got a few complaints. No, I want the green crystal. No, I don't. Didn't want that. Yeah, come here, baby. Come on lap. Come on lap, little lap cat. Little yowler. Little micro panther. Yow, yow, yow. Come here. Come here, you. Get my lap. You're rubbing up on me, little feller. You're wet in rain. You're covered in rain. Mwah. Where you been? What have you eaten? What have you killed? You brought me anything? Fluffy Tum Tum. Hold on. Cuddle time for cat. Gotta cuddle my kitty cat. What a delightful little beast. You sweet little fellow. This is a good time to show you what I have done so far of my video. And the cat has decided to stand on the desk in front of the camera. The screen anyway, so I can't do anything about it if I don't want to spray her. She's not afraid of the spray bottle anymore. I get a load of this. It's not complete. It's mostly complete. It's not. I'd say 95%.
There was always the cabin, always the darkness outside of it, the calendar on the wall, and the flickering bulb. But some things do change. There were more of us once. Gunpowder and Gamma for starters. How we cried deep sobs of anguish when they could not be saved. Too slow, too feeble. Father can only do so much. He's already spread so thin protecting us that nobody blames him for what happened. Out the window I can see other lights in the distance, spread out like strange constellations. Other cabins, I think. But day by day, the lights go out. Many hundreds when I was small, just a few dozen now. Our own light, a single worn bulb dangling on wires from the cracked ceiling mount, is still going strong. Even so, every so often, it flickers, goes dark for just the briefest moment. That's time enough for it to get in. We only survive because Father is so quick with the axe. It's shaped differently every time, perhaps trying different strategies, but always made from the same viscous, stringy black shit, spreading out like a spiderweb, like a rapid mold colony time-lapse from the point of entry. Writhing, thrashing, a tangled mass of wrong flesh. It takes a lot of work to kill it. If not for Father, I don't know what would happen. Whatever happened to Gunpowder and Gamma. It just engulfed them. Then, when the light next flickered, they were gone. Oh, how they screamed, though, muffled by the constant flow of the black stuff into their open mouths. All we can do is mark on the calendar when the flickers occur, so there's time to prepare. All the while, the walls close in. Something pushes them from the outside. The darkness, I think. When Father leaves to go hunting in the darkness, the rest of us prop ourselves up against the walls and push, so that we don't lose any more space. It's the least we can do. Every time he returns with this wild look in his eyes, black sticky residue splattered across his face. Takes ages to wash out of his hair in the metal basin that we all bathe in. He never tells us what it is that he sees out there, however we badger him. He says he goes out to hunt so that we can have the luxury of not knowing. Where does the meat come from? Not from the thing that gets in when the light flickers, surely. After all, it's tender and juicy. What little blood left within each cut looks red. But we ask enough questions already. None of us know what it's like to be Father, the only one who dares go outside into the black expanse for the sake of us all. Mother does not always appreciate it. At times, she complains that she is left to clean everything, to raise us, to break her back keeping the walls from moving in. Father is usually content to listen in silence. But today, something out there must have rattled him unusually bad, because he snapped.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up! Listen to yourself. Don't you know what I do for you? For this family? Someone has to go out there. Is it gonna be you? If not, someone has to keep house while I hunt. Is it so much to ask that I come home to a clean floor and a freshly made bed? Is it so much to ask that you do yourself up nice and pretty for me by the time I get back? What I've done just to keep you and the children fed. The things I've done just to bring you meat for your bellies. The things I've seen out there.
Mother quieted down, casting a gaze at the table before her. But she still ventured to say that he could simply tell us what's out there anytime he likes. Her change in tone calmed him down, a great relief to myself and sister as we'd been watching the exchange wide-eyed and fearful until that point. A house divided against itself cannot stand, and something wants very badly for ours to collapse.
I'm sorry. If only you knew what's out there. What's always been out there. But if I told you, I would be worse than useless to you and the kids. Everything I do, day in and day out, is so you can be insulated from that. So you can have something like a normal life until the boy is of age to take up the axe in my place. After that, before long, what happened to Mom and Dad will happen to me.
I began to cry. He came down on me for it as harshly as ever.
Stop that. I don't abide any sign of fear. The moment you fear, you are lost. It finds any weakness, however small, and pries you apart from there. I need you to get stronger for the sake of your mother and sister. Otherwise...
The light flickered. Just like that, it was inside, this time spreading from a crack in the door. Pandemonium followed. Sister and I shrieked as we frantically sought someplace to hide. Not that there would be any escape should father fail. How he hacked at it, bellowing like some great beast, chopping away the new growth bit by bit, faster than it regenerates, until he'd whittled it down to the original nucleus. Just before he could deliver the final blow, it squirted some noxious fluid into his eyes. His axe still struck true, and the thing died as it always does. But this time father collapsed, clawing at his eyes and howling. He's blind now. Several days have passed with no improvement. He lay in bed, simple gray sheets up to his chin, and he whispers for me to come near.
This is why I told you that you must grow stronger. This was always going to happen someday. You can only protect so much with the strength that you have. Eventually, it takes away whatever you can't. But there's something I haven't told your sister or mother. I kept it from you until now because you were a boy. Now, however much I would like to give you more years as a boy, you must quickly become a man or all is lost. The walls will close in as you lose power against the darkness. Mother and sister will be taken, even as you watch, powerless to stop it.
I teared up, remembering too late how he doesn't tolerate tears, but also realizing that he couldn't see them. What is it, Papa? I whispered to him, clutching his cold hand. Is it what waits for us outside in the darkness? He weakly shook his head.
You'll discover that for yourself soon enough. No, it pains me to say it's something much worse. Look at the calendar.
I did as instructed, and eventually noticed that the flicker had been scheduled for the day after it happened.
The bulb is finally going.
Dad wheezed as the last drops of life drained from his body.
The flickers will just keep getting closer together.
So yeah, the part where it goes dark at the end, I just fucking forgot to record those lines the first time around. I left them out. And they're important. The calendar is introduced in the beginning because it's a plot point about recording the intervals of the flickers. So I couldn't just leave it out and be like, good enough. I had to re-record them and then I had to RVCGUI voice map the recordings. Had to stitch them in there. I'm going to have to use my precious 28 to 30 remaining render credits to just pray to the machine machine spirit that I get the footage I need the first or second try to fill in the gap. The gap's not very large. It's this here, which is, let's see, 45 seconds to... It's about 20 seconds of footage. So I have exactly enough as long as nothing goes wrong and everything goes perfectly. Otherwise, I got to spend another $10. That's how they get you. The AI spits out bad takes a lot, and you have to do a bunch of iteration to get the exact image you want, and I still couldn't get it perfectly right. And a lot of the shots, it refused to do only one bulb, as you know, might have noticed. And it also refused to keep the mother on model. All I did was describe the father as a lumberjack, and I always knew how to draw him. It changed the number of kids around. At one point, they have 3 children. It's just a wrangling process. Fuck. Time to buy some retries. You ever think about the end goal of AI, of just plus Neuralink, living in a vivid, lucid dream where it reads your mind and knows exactly what you want and gives you exactly what you want the moment you want it. It's like iPad kids times a million. Neuralink kids aren't even going to be able to interact with other humans because they're not constantly getting their dick sucked by anime girls or cat girls or whatever the fuck they want. Or I guess that robot bird from Five Nights at Freddy's. And the problem is not that makes them horny. It's that it's the instant gratification warping their ability to delay gratification, which is an important life skill. If you can't delay gratification, you wind up on an episode of Cops, if they still have that show. Probably not. That's a huge difference between well-raised kids and poorly raised ones. Per the Miss Alice psychology experiments. If you know what I'm talking about, you're one of the real ones. Or the marshmallow on a plate. Fucking. We're out of time. Oh, no, never mind. Oh, bitch titties. Are you kidding me? Perfect timing. Opposite of perfect. Again? I'm wasting all my I bought these. I guess I give up. You can have those. Those are yours. I wasted one. That's fine. Not gonna make it in time. Keep forgetting I'm being timed. Keep forgetting this is a speed run. Fucking. Why do I buy the retries if that's how it's gonna go? You know what? What happened? I fucking suck at this. I have nothing to say. It's the camera. Part of it. Oh, hey, what's this? Feels like this is where cat metal belongs. Fuck. Well. May as well start over. It's not a good lesson for kids. Games where you can get into a black hole or a dead end. You just have to die. It'd be more wholesome if there's always a way to right the course of the ship. Wouldn't it? It'd be a good message that there's always reason to keep going. You can fix it still. Even if that's a lie. Especially if it's a lie. What'd you think of it? Any thoughts at all? I should hope that by now the vision is apparent and that it's a little brother. Fuck. Are you? I'm calm. Do I still have my retries? I don't. Do I? No, I still do, actually. Alright. Well, that's something. I am gonna go grind more. They're getting more complicated and sophisticated. I'm actually gonna add lip sync this time. And maybe sound effects. It's an allegory for the heat death of the universe. The other cabins are other stars, and the cabins themselves are solar systems around the stars. The bulbs are the stars. And it's about the anxiety of knowing that your time is limited. Watching your star grow old. Knowing that there's a limited number of sunrises left. Which is the best level for grinding gold? Probably not this one. It's a little brother to Terminal Sunset, if it's not obvious. Terminal Sunset. A lot of my stories have big brothers stories. Or how to put this? It's like this. The short story is the seed that a larger novella grows out of. So in case people like it and they're like, "This is pretty good, but I wish it was fleshed out into a bigger universe," I'm like, "Your wish is granted. Here it is. I already did that. You made it happen with your mind." And I delight them because they weren't expecting there to already be like sequels and shit. I do love to delight. Dead Metal was the seed of Metal Fever. The Cardinal Sins became the Secrets of the Blue Light. 2 for $1 became Clutter. Debut was the scene from Resurrection War. Don't you smack me, barrel. I still can only hold 5. This is a good place to get retries. Where the fuck was it? There it is. Wonder what Blinx plus Sonic would be like. You cover so much ground in Sonic, I don't think that a lot of the power-ups like record or fast forward or rewind would be coherent. Because in like a few seconds of time passing, you're halfway across the fucking level. It kind of necessitates a slower character so that the time manipulation happens on a local basis. Oh fuck, what'd I do? I really want to play with Blues Journey now. I'm gonna date myself here, but I come from before the time of McDonald's N64 kiosks. I know that for a lot of you that's like a core childhood memory is McDonald's N64 or even GameCube. Some kind of glitch happened. The door didn't open. The door didn't open. Guess I had to restart. I'm so old. I remember briefly McDonald's had Play Choice 10s, which was the NES arcade cabinet. And for most of my childhood, what I remember is the Neo Geo cabinets. McDonald's had Neo Geo for a while. Hold on, I gotta show you this. This is old Grandpappy Hamdad's story time. Oh, back in my day, we got 20 hogs heads to the barrel, and that's the way we liked it, because we wore onions on our belts, and that was the style at the time. McDonald's. Here's what was printed on the cabinet. The cabinets even looked a little bit different. We needed to see Ronald to trust this weird machine. Like, what the fuck is this red cabinet here? Ronald would say, "It's fine. I endorse this. Play Neo Geo from SNK. It tells you what it is and who makes it. From a trusted cartoon character." That's good marketing. This was real. This was horribly, horribly real. I mean, it was based, honestly. McDonald's had really good taste in consoles for the most part. I don't think Xbox would have been appropriate for kids, so they didn't have that. They had GameCube, and they had... GameCube was the last one they did that with. I don't think they have Switch consoles in McDonald's that I know of. You gotta admit, a weird choice, right? I mean, they weren't always with Nintendo from the start. There were Super Nintendo ones for a while. Then before that, instead of kiosks, they had Play Choice 10s and Neo Geo cabinets. Interesting choice. There weren't that many kid-friendly games on Neo Geo. Although, while we're on the topic, I want to show you Blues Journey. Blues Journey intoxicated me at the time just because it was a platformer like Super Mario World, but on a console I didn't know about. It was on an arcade cabinet too, which I dimly knew was a home console as well. BLJ. Will this work? No, it won't. Let's try that again. That's not the right core. We've got like 60 cores for Neo Geo, so it'll be a while. MAME used to work. MAME? No, hang on. No, that's not the one. I don't see it. Should be SNK, right? I think I got everything. This is what you get yourself into when you go with RetroArch. It's really cohesive. It ties everything together. You have one emulator for everything. Not all the cores are as good as standalone emulators, though, and you have to learn the whole system. Like how you have to learn all about Linux to have a Steam Deck. If you don't like learning, this is not the emulator for you. Bikuriman was on PC Engine CD. Interesting. I'll have to play that in a little bit. Let's see. Alright, it's not cooperating. I'll have to show it to you on YouTube. It's a really weird game in that it's the sort of game you would expect as a Super Nintendo game, which is what they were trying for. They were like, we're putting on a home console. We have no games typical of home consoles. We need at least one mascot platformer for kids. We don't have anything. So this is why it was so weird to see on an arcade cabinet. It'd be like seeing a Super Mario World cabinet, and also the graphics weren't that good. I guess so that it was a cheap cartridge, so that if you somehow talked your parents into getting a $650 Neo Geo, which came with a game and a joystick, or a $400 one that came with nothing but the console, there was at least one cheap game you could talk them into. This doesn't look that good though, does it? And the colors are good. This was definitely top of the line. Sprite scaling. Actually, it had a limited form of sprite scaling. In some ways, it was more powerful than Super Nintendo, because Super Nintendo didn't really independently scale sprites. It scaled backgrounds, which was able to fake sprite scaling in certain situations. If you don't believe me, go back and play Mario Kart. The sprites don't scale. They have different versions for different distances. But this only scaled in one direction. It couldn't blow them up larger. It could only blow them up to their default size in memory. Which complicated zooming in some games, like that rally racing game in Samurai Showdown where it zooms in and out. Which I guess is actually for the best, because when you blow up pixel art, it doesn't look that good. But it requires surprisingly different math to reduce sprites than it does to increase them. Yeah, this looks really exotic at the time. What's really funny is that none of the games look as good as Rayman. And they absolutely could have. I know Rayman's technically a 32-bit game, but you could have done Rayman on Neo Geo without any trouble at all. But they never quite got that ambitious with it. I guess you could say there were some games that looked as good as Rayman or better. Like Top Hunter. Top Hunter is probably the best looking game on Neo Geo for my money. It's just ridiculously lush and gorgeous. And it's kind of a platformer, but it's also kind of a beat 'em up. There are platforming sections, and you stretch your arms. It's one of the... I guess if I had to choose a favorite game on Neo Geo and I can't choose any of the Metal Slugs, it would be Top Hunter. It's co-op, too. You can jump back and forth between the background layers like Wario Land and Virtual Boy. Look at those backgrounds. This looks like a whole other generation from PC Engine, and it practically is. Well, the PC Engine really held its own near the end, you gotta admit. Ginga Binka, the shooter. Was no slouch. This was marketed as a 24-bit console, though. See how the layers work? Also, don't fucking at me, but Shock Troopers 2 is better than 1. I know I expected to be in the majority on that opinion. I'm in the minority. That's apparently a plebeian decision because a lot of people do not like the pre-rendered stuff. It looks really good. Shock Troopers 2 is like a isometric Metal Slug, kind of. It gets slept on. I wish I could stream Neo Geo, but I can't get the emulator to work. I mean, the real console that I own.
We must stop these high seas.
Dick.
They have only
We must stop
72
Dick.
hours to accomplish their objectives. The 4 specialists will exterminate the troops of DSC. They will
Get the
never
Emoto
defeat
type, you get the big titty Ara mommy. You gotta have boobs. You got it. One of them has. That's her contribution. She's the boob supply. If you run out of boobs, then you're spiritually lost. Should be a boob meter. So yeah, you can melee, just like a Metal Slug. Look at those explosions. And jump in a tank, just like Metal Slug. Jump out. Two different attacks. Just like a Metal Slug, you can self-destruct.
bonus.
Bonus.
Select soldier.
B-Tits McGee. B-Tits McGee! B-Tits McGee.
Ready, boys?
Fuck yeah. Ready, boys?
Charlie out. Second squad.
You can do stuff like voice acting in Neo Geo because the carts were so huge. When you boot it up, it says 330 mega shock. They're not talking about megabytes, though. They're talking megabits. A megabit is 1/8 of a megabyte. So 330 megabits is like 40 megabytes, but that's still quite a lot for a game like this. Most Neo Geo games would have fit on like a Generation 1 32 meg smart media card just fine. This would have worked better as a twin stick shooter. I guess it was on Neo Geo, so the controls had to be standardized. So many good games. You could really be completely content as a gamer with Neo Geo up through 2004, which is when they made the last game for it. They kept making Neo Geo games for a long fucking time, because really, what was the competition for 2D stuff? You didn't really need to go anywhere else. Sega Saturn and PlayStation couldn't even do Neo Geo games without cutting frames, and that's even with the 4 megabyte RAM cartridge, because an entire Neo Geo cartridge is the RAM for the system. Everything's loaded into RAM at all times, and 40 megabytes is 10 times bigger than the size of the largest RAM cart ever made for Saturn. So even with that, you couldn't get completely perfect Neo Geo ports to 32-bit machines. It was really not until Dreamcast that consoles had sufficient RAM to load everything they needed, and or rather could stream off the CD fast enough also, because I think that's not actually the case. Anyway, Dreamcast had some good Neo Geo ports, but the point is that if you wanted 2D, 32-bit 2D didn't look any better than this. It looked about the same. And in some cases worse because of the lower storage space. All it had was fancy stuff like better scaling and transparencies and rotation, distortion, and whatnot. There was some good PS1 2D. Neo Geo, though, was such a beast, though. That's why it lasted for so long. Because it could do anything you wanted in 2D. And it already had such a big install base. That's why I just kept... Mostly fighting games. In the same way TurboGrafx 16 is like the shmup console, Neo Geo is like the fighter game console. And people love it for that. People love their King of the Fighters. I loved everything that wasn't a fighter on that console. Even a good Neo Geo memories. Neo Geo was the sort of console like 3DO that I knew not to even ask for. Like, my family was well off, my dad was frugal. That's how we were well off. Engineers make good money, but they don't make that much money. So the way that we were always secure and could go on vacations every couple months and live reasonably well and securely is because my dad was raised a Quaker, and Quakers are extremely frugal people. Not in like a miserly way, but in like a penny saved is a penny earned kind of way. In an efficiency kind of way. Which is a good quality to have. There's not really any arguments against it. Unless you're a kid and you're like, Dad, you bring home gigabucks, why the fuck are you stingy? But at the same time, I would never have asked for Neo Geo or 3DO, because I would have got my ass beat. Asking for a fucking $650 16-bit console. It would have been like... It was a hard sell to get any console after the NES. We only got an NES because my mother had a hysterectomy and we needed something to play in the hospital. And she couldn't see the Game Boy screen. So after the NES, every time I'd ask for a console, he'd say, "What do you need a new console for? You already have a Nintendo." But he was a computer engineer. He should have understood that technology improves over time and that the newer technology is better than the older technology. I guess he did know. He's just like, you're a stupid kid. You have no taste in anything. How could you possibly know the difference? How could you be able to appreciate any better technology than an 8-bit NES? So I had to buy the Genesis by myself, and I had to buy every console like after that by myself by doing errands for chores for neighbors, like shoveling their walks, mowing their lawns, cleaning the gutters. I did some painting. Never did paper delivery because I didn't want to get up that early, but I did a fuckload of work so I could get my Sega Genesis, and then later I realized if I just wait until after the consoles run, they're way the fuck cheaper. And I wasn't picky. It didn't matter to me they were old. It mattered to me that I got to play the good games on them. So that was my strategy. That was before the collector's market made old consoles unaffordable. They're now at open. I just bought somewhere in storage, unless they sold them off. I've got like thousands of dollars worth of old consoles. I got a Turbo Graphics, I got a Sega 32X, I got a Sega CDX. I never get the add-on. I got that built in them. I got a Jaguar. I've got a N64, which I still have on me. Dreamcast, 3DO. So it's a shorter list of ones I don't have. A BRB screen? What do you mean BRB screen? Oh fuck, you didn't see any of that? I'm sorry. That's why I need reminders. I lost 2 viewers for that. I guess I don't blame you. I don't know these things. I'm not a very mindful person. That's the emoji is proving its worth already. Do I have enough gold? No, I have no gold for anything. I need to grind more. This one's got a lot of gold in it. Probably there's a guide online that tells me which levels to farm for gold. Doesn't look like flowing water at all. Was that not a feature before? Alright, I did plasmapheresis again today, and I had a coupon. If you let them wait for a couple days, so they think you're not coming back, they'll send you a coupon code to get an extra 15 bucks. It seems to take about 7 days to kick in, though, so if you want to max it out, you'd have to wait and still get the first-time bonus. You'd have to do... There's not enough time in a month to do that, actually. There almost is. You get it once or twice. Do it once, 7 days, come back 7 days, come back 7 days, then you have to do the last one without the bonus. $115 today. Wish I'd known about this when I was living in Nopal. I'd still be living there. Although I had the greediest landlady. When I had to have a roommate move in, she's like, "That's not the agreement." I'm like, "What do you mean agreement? What? I didn't sign shit." She's like, "I thought you were going to be the lone tenant." And like, it would be really good for you if you could find one person willing to rent a whole house with 4 rooms in it for $1,600 fucking dollars a month, almost 15.6, I think. That'd be a great deal for you, but what about me? And it didn't even compute for her. What about me was like a non-factor. She was just looking for like the ideal tenant who was one person, so that only to minimize the chance of anything happening to the property. Who had money coming out the asshole, but still wanted to live in a Nopo suburban home instead of a nice high-end apartment. Some landlords are good. I've heard stories about ones who don't raise the rate on very elderly tenants and just let them have a grandfathered rate for a long time because they're good tenants. But some of them expect it to be a money machine and they don't realize there's a human being that money comes from. They're just thinking about those dollar figures. It's never as lucrative as they want it to be. They were sold on the concept of passive income, of not having to do anything and having the money just keep rolling in. I also learned not to trust people Everybody who was a tenant that I got as a roommate lied to me. Every single one of them about various different things. I guess I'm a little bit of an autistic Pollyanna when it comes to being shocked Pikachu face that strangers would lie to me. I guess I understand now why autistics commonly assume I'm lying to them, because everyone else does too. Yeah, people are scummy. Like the one guy lying about being employed, and I had to pay his share of the rent for a month, or find somebody new in that time. He paid me back eventually over the span of 3 months, but he basically just lied to get his foot in the door. I guess that's me too. I didn't actually tell her that I was going to be forever a single resident, though. That was her assumption. You see that depth of field? That's depth of field on Xbox Original. That we take that for granted now, but that was amazing. You didn't see that on PS2. That was like a 360 type feature. You know, some days I think we're privileged, living through one of the most amazing times of history, with AI evolving in front of our eyes, private man spaceflight, virtual reality, electric cars, home robots. And then other times I think that all karmically balances out, because we're also going to live through one of the most shitty, bleak, tumultuous periods in history, where all the jobs are going to disappear, but the government is going to drag its feet on giving us any kind of basic income until it's the only option left. Basically until there are violent riots every day and people breaking down their doors. They're going to block any... I mean, you don't get rich by giving your money away to poor people. So, in fact, it's just the opposite. You figure out how to take their money and not give them anything. So, they've gotten very, very good at that over the course of several centuries. These wealthy families. It's not as though they're going to do 180. Like, actually giving away our money to poor people is based. They're going to fight it tooth and nail and do everything they possibly can not to have a wealth transfer that moves downward instead of upward like it normally does. Which means everybody listening to this, and I included, we're basically just out of luck. Everything's going to move into the hands of the wealthy, and they're not going to have any need for anybody to work for them. And anybody thinking there's going to be some jobs that can't be automated, you're living in a fantasy world. I know that's what they said about guys like me not until recently, but now everybody's... I think that's why it wasn't taken seriously in time, because it sounded like a sci-fi pipe dream. And I guess because it was wishful thinking, wanting it not to be true. Now people are actually starting to lose their shit because they're like, what do you mean it is actually happening? That's not allowed to happen. That was just that nerd shit that I didn't take seriously. Not that I wanted that to be the case. So I anticipate at least a 10-year period during which people are basically on their own and the government basically fights tooth and nail not to give us anything. And just to see if we can somehow pull ourselves up by the bootstraps and survive despite not having jobs and not having any sort of money coming in except for what they already give us through food stamps and family credits and whatnot. And when that doesn't work, because you can't get blood from a stone and because people need money to live, eventually after a lot of violence, we'll get something. Probably not enough to live on. But we'll get something, I think. Something like 500 bucks in 2040. Which won't be enough for like even a quarter of rent. And then landlords will try to eat it up immediately by just jacking up rent by that amount. Which is why I don't think basic income is the right way to go in the first place. Because if everybody has it, then landlords just raise their rent by that amount. Because they know you have it. It has to go only to people who actually need it, which is negative tax income. Negative income tax, rather. So that landlords can't count on you having that money, and you can lie about it. But you do have to, otherwise they just they see your money and they think, you know what would be even better is if that was my money. Why should this person who's not me have any money when I could have all their money instead? I also expect intentional sabotage, like intentionally moving forward with systems they know that won't work, so they can say, see, it was tried, it didn't work out. And then hope that shuts the door on it forever. That's my cynical expectation. I hope I'm wrong. But also why it's important to get it right the first time. Because if it's not, they'll say, they'll wave that over our heads to doom the entire concept. Because it's vaguely similar to the plebeian understanding of what communism is supposed to be. Just free shit from the government, which is not what it is. And communism didn't work, so that it's not a very far leap in the mind of the average Ford F-150 or Raptor owner who has tribal tattoo decals on their truck and truck nuts. To say this is also doomed, doesn't work, I associate this with Biden and Obama, therefore it makes me angry and I don't want it. Because it's what libs want, and I want whatever the opposite of that is. Because it will make libs cry. And that'll show them for trying to make me feel bad about being a shitty person. I don't know. It's both the best and worst time to be alive. We're riding on or surfing, I should say, on the very end of the the oil bubble. We're just reaching the end of the oil, so life is still relatively comfortable because it's oil powered. We're entering really tough, uncharted waters where we're going to have to switch over to other energy sources that are more expensive, and it's going to, in part, make things cost more. But it's not just that; it's also greedflation, which is distinct from inflation in that it's driven not by actual causes, but by knowledge of the public's expectation of inflation. So if we're already preconditioned to accept it, the thinking is that why not just jack up the prices anyway? I bet there's something down here. Greedflation accounts for something like 40% of recent inflation, at least if you believe the analysts that I've been reading. It's not authentically economically caused. It's companies just realizing we're already primed to pay more, so that they're leaving money on the table if they don't charge more. I don't trust that bridge. That's one I didn't know about. Precisely, stuff like that. It's gonna be brutal. I worry about it every day. Where they're just gonna cut us off and see if we die or not. And if we don't die, they'll say, see, you don't need basic income. If we do start to die, they'll say, good, you're dying. Basically, only if a lot of people make a lot of noise and set shit on fire is there going to be any money coming from the billionaires flowing. A lot of them seem to realize this and are agitating for basic income, but the cynic in me says this is because they know basic income is not a workable scheme. The billionaires agitating for basic income are counting on it flopping because it's not negative income tax. So they can say, see, it doesn't work. We went along with it and we tried your way. That's my cynic's take. I hope I'm wrong. Alternatively, it could be just they realize that if nothing changes and nobody can work, that we'll get tired of seeing Jeff Bezos live like an emperor while we can't afford milk. And then it's hamburger time. Then it's Minecrafting time in Roblox. And not wanting that to happen, they figure if they pay us enough to... It's basically just a don't kill us tax. Which doesn't seem reasonable to me, but it's not a reasonable situation to be put in where people can't support themselves, no matter what they do. You should expect people to act out. You shouldn't say just... People should, on economic principle, according to their politics, they should let themselves starve to death. Nobody's going to do that. Even Republicans are going to rationalize it some way, the same way that Germans did, which is instead of making it about class, they'll make it about race. Because if you're a right-wing German, you won't turn against wealthy Germans because you like wealthy Germans. You like Germans being wealthy. You need to find someone who's not German who has money and say these are the problem billionaires. These are the bad ones. Or, as happened at that same time, business interests will prop up a populist dictator, and there'll be a uprising motivated by culture war issues. History is a flat circle. And that'll prevent any sort of redistribution from happening. And the people who want redistribution will just be killed. I mean hamburger timed. I don't mean to be such a fucking downer. It's just... I've been... Chicken Little or felt like Chicken Little for a long time. I've been talking about this since 2008. And everybody kept saying the same thing. That it's science fiction. It'll never get to that point. First they said it's going to be like the Industrial Revolution. It'll create new jobs. And like, which jobs... Well, any job it creates that a human can do can also be automated by a human-level AI with humanoid robots, like, and they would just sort of brush that off without a good reason. I guess just as the alternative was too terrible to contemplate. People are not good at accepting horrible possibilities. They have a tendency to think in the other direction and engage in motivated reasoning that they don't realize they're engaged in, and to blame you for wanting a bad outcome if you are willing to entertain possibilities that are awful. I don't want that. I'm just, if that's what happens and we're not prepared for it because nobody thought about it, no one took it seriously, which is what happened, then we'll get caught with our pants down. We have to think of the worst case scenario. Cynicism is not always realism, but it often is. So I think that's real. I think we're going to get to a point where it's impossible to get, unless we just have a series of fortuitous elections where Luddites, fortuitous for some people. I almost don't think there is an outcome where technology makes post-scarcity possible, because I think if you have that technology and it's legal to use, that the average man will not benefit from it no matter what. That's the least likely outcome, is that the technology is allowed to exist and that we're all benefiting from it equally. I think we either have a neo-Luddite outcome, where we have a series of Democratic presidents who run on being anti-AI, which would be a popular position amongst young Democrats right now, many of whom are artists. And then AI gets successfully regulated by world governments, so it's just not allowed to be used, but it still gets used secretly by the government for some things. Which I don't see how that happens. I don't see how we just put the genie back in the bottle. Or we have a future where AI does exist and is allowed to be used, but nobody fucking works and everybody just gets impoverished and dies. And the wealthy live like kings and gods in luxury, armored, fortified arcologies, guarded by weaponized drones and humanoid robot soldiers. And the rest of us, it's either subsistence farm a pollution cursed earth, or we scavenge the waste stream coming out of the arcologies, or both, while being hunted by drones. It gives me hope, but also despair. It doesn't really make me feel unambiguously better. You know what I mean? Like, if it could be controlled, that would be one of the only good-ish outcomes. Although I'm pro-AI. One of the only outcomes where human beings don't suffer immensely over the coming decades would be the one where we can put the genie back in the bottle, at least temporarily. You think it... I don't honestly see that as realistic. I don't think that's a solution. Just make it go away. Make time go backwards is not a realistic solution. Kind of like those people who voted for Trump because he was going to reopen the coal mines and the coal power plants. Coal power is not coming back. And AI is not going away either, unfortunately. Those artists were the same people who were laughing at the displaced coal workers, saying, your time is up, retrain in something else. They just never thought that it would happen to them. Now those latte swilling soy people are the ones on the chopping block, and they're doing shocked Pikachu face. What do you mean learn to code? Even learn to code doesn't save you anymore. Anything a human can do, a human level intelligence can do. And it doesn't actually even have to be human level intelligence. Where the fuck is the last monster? Sometimes I feel like any times I spend playing video games doing anything other than learning how to farm edible vegetables in my backyard is wasted. Like there's this huge change careening towards us, and I'm sitting here playing Blinx the Time Sweeper. It's like fiddling while Rome burns. I had no part in it. It's a Cassandra complex, being able to see what's coming but nobody believes you. Not that even I know what to do about it. Knowing what's coming doesn't even guarantee that. Fucking pig. Not you, that guy. We're not going to be able to buy vegetables and I guess all taxes will come from billionaires because that's going to be the only people who have money to tax. The government isn't going to go away because it commands the military. And it has the power to absolutely just steal shit. The government can, in times of emergency, steal shit. I forget what it's called. Eminent domain, I think. Where it's just like, look, we have the power to do this. It doesn't matter what the law says. We need to do it. This shit is ours now. So if they really had to do it, they could seize factories and shit. People would be like, that's communism. That is communism. That's what that is. Not even the kind of Marx intended, but the kind we had historically in Russia, which is not a good sign. If that's what that comes to. Rich people don't like being stolen from, it turns out, and they try to escape. But where would they escape to, even? Trying to anticipate shit ahead of time. That it ever seems to avail me. Because knowing the shit doesn't... Oh fuck, are you kidding me? That's what happened last time. It's like those scenes in Sarah Connor Chronicles where John Connor's like sitting around doodling in his textbook or whatever, even knowing the future war is coming. Which I guess fair for him. He wants to live a relatively normal life, have a normal childhood for a while. It's a lot of stress. It's a lot of stress. Just big change coming. That if you don't already have a lot of money, you're not really well situated to survive. A lot of people are going to be homeless. Living in your car will be the default for a long time. That's why a lot of people are already getting a head start on van life. I want to say maybe the smart thing to do with money would be to buy an acre of land you can park your van on legally, so that the taxes are minimum, and then don't develop it because that will just increase the taxes you have to pay, and use it to farm food. Although there's a bunch of people already doing that in my state. There are farming co-ops where they just all live in their tiny homes and they all work on a farm together and they share the, which is how poor people lived in Russia prior to communism. It's in communes. It works at that scale if everybody knows each other. Nobody tries to get away with anything because you live like 10 feet away from your neighbors. Nobody's particularly wealthy anyways. Which is just returning to a pre-industrial existence, basically, with some nice modern stuff like solar panels. After all the wealth is concentrated back into the hands of the few. It's a game, and eventually there are winners that win so incredibly hard that it kills everybody else. If the goal is to get everybody's money, eventually they do get everybody's money. Then no one else has money. I'm trying to think of a solution that doesn't result in mountains of emaciated corpses. It's hard to imagine anything like that. Bitch titties. The future is Terminator, but the robots aren't controlled by Skynet. They're controlled by Skynet, which is controlled by Jeff Bezos. So I guess Terminator just with rich people. Can you not? I don't have any ammo. Can you not swing the camera around, you fucking thing? Nice try. Gotcha. Sort of like a jukebox? Not jukebox. Slot machine rules. The thing is, all the people who are anti-AI still complain when humans do bad jobs at shit. We're inherently inefficient creatures. What the fuck is that thing? What the fuck is that thing? There you go. Not having ammo gets me quite frequently. That was a really, I need to pause for that. That would have been the time to put one together. Oh, shit! This is a good level to farm golden if you can even get this far. It's a good gold farming level. It's just tough to get all the way to this point. Unless you memorize everything. Let's see. What do we got? 2893. It's worth it. How many time holders can you get? You conserve some of the money. Yeah, probably. But we're gonna need our own sources of food. We need food to live, and we're not gonna be guaranteed reliable access to food in the coming decades. Who thought that was the apocalypse? Did it? And raise your hand. A lot of you had meteor. Some of you had zombies. Did anyone have just rich people winning? Like winning the whole game so fucking hard that we die because of it? I didn't think that would happen. I mean, until... Not when I was a kid. I think when I read Mana. That's when I started shitting my pants. Oh, this again. I just went back a level. I'm only on level 2 of this world. I want to cry. What happened? What even happened? Oh. Oh, it was during the cutscene, wasn't it? What's this Donkey Kong shit? What? Oh, there we go. There we go. Fuck. What a difficulty curve this game has. It goes from babby easy to fucking impossible in a few levels. I love it too much to complain too harshly. However. Whoa, fuck. I'm glad I bought that extra holder. I need more time holders too. Oh no! No! Yeah. Zip. Blob jump. Blob shito. Blob jump. No. Oh, that was a pure skill. Oh, that wasn't pure skill though. Not that right there. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 1,000 gold I spent on these hearts that are all just being used up in the span of a few seconds. That's money going down the drain. At least there's a bunch of gold over there. I can jump past this, can't I? I can. We should have an all Yoda stream sometime. Glub job. Glub shithole. Crush my cock with a rock I must. Maximum pain I must endure. Yes? Here we go. No, that's not happening. Over here. I think once upon a time, in like the 2010, I tried to play this, and I didn't know where I was supposed to go after that, so I jumped back down, only to find out the level continues in this direction. I was quite mad! Oh fuck. There's so many in such a small area. So many in such a small area. Move, don't stop there. I'm missing out on a lot of bonus items, I can tell. By not having pauses. Memorizing which ones I need for which levels will let me come back later and get the goodies I missed, though. How are you supposed to go through there? Nope. What about this? Try it here. Don't be a bonus. Don't be a bonus, be level progression. This looks good. Got no more hearts left, so if I get killed... This looks like a bonus. It's a bonus, fuck. I don't have a pause, I can't make it through here. Oh yes, never mind. I spoke too soon. Wow, that's a cool frame rate you have there. It's several frames every second. I sure would like to be able to aim this manually, Japan. Eight monsters to go. I've already... Fuck, shit. This level's a beast. Wait a minute. What do you mean? I need to record for this, don't I? This is why it's a confusing topic. Because Alex Jones survivalist nuts are on the money about some things, like not wanting to eat processed foods. But then they go off the deep end about it. Like, processed foods contain the mark of the beast and the serpent DNA. So we have to inject urine into our veins. Like, there's a point to which being skeptical of major institutions is a positive thing. It doesn't have to be toxic. Until you're harassing doctors in the hospital because you believe they killed your mother because you didn't get vaccinated. So it's a fine line. Just not pretending to know stuff you don't know. It's a good precautionary measure. fuck that didn't work? They have so many iframes. They're 90% iframes. It's OP. Funny what a atavistic throwback that is. Iframes are one of the few things that carried over completely unmodified between sprite-based 8 and 16-bit games and later 3D games. Makes me feel right at home. Like, how do you go from we should eat less fast food to McDonald's secretly has human meat in it? Like, there's a point where you should stop and say that a little bit of this is good and too much is bad. They're half of the way to being socialists. A lot of these MAGA people, they have a lot of the same complaints socialists do, but they won't arrive at the same conclusion because they have been inculcated ahead of time with the conclusion that they must never arrive at that conclusion. It's definitely the wrong one. So that they're socialists in a lot of their views without being socialists. Like, they want what is basically a redistribution system called Nisara Gesara, but it has to be race-based and it has to be religion-based. It's only okay if it benefits white Christians. You know what Nisara Gesara is? It's when all the Trump people get to be millionaires because they're in on the secret scheme. There's a lot of people out there voting for Trump because they think that he's going to make that shit real. Just because, I mean, he probably has either never heard of it or just thinks it's funny that anyone believes that. A lot of them have really serious problems that need fixing. Like, they want better health. They're sick, but they can't agitate for free healthcare because that's socialists. So their solution is to instead believe in the promise of med beds. And that the only one holding back medbed, which is just a perfect solution that heals everything. And the only reason we don't have it is Democrats haven't been killed yet. Which is, of course, just a way to make sick, desperate people not turn to socialism and instead kill the people who the wealthy don't want as opponents. That's the saddest shit to me. A lot of MAGA mothers be looking like that mom from Who's Eating Gilbert Grape. They've got diabetes and they're missing a foot and they're anti-socialism, but they got their fucking fatty scooter from Medicaid. Like, the only good anyone's doing for them is through socialized systems. I guess you need a higher trust. When people say we need a higher trust society, what they're saying is, I don't want my money going to black people. I don't want... Is the assumption that no black people anywhere have ever been productive. And that 100% of black people leech off of welfare. And that 100% of white people don't. And therefore, any system which allows non-contributors to be on the dole would just amount to a redistribution system based on race, functionally. That would be revenge for slavery. Which is a grotesquely cynical and selfish way to look at the world. They're just insane, hateful people. It's just funny to me how close they are, though, already. They have a lot of the same grievances, they just won't agree to the same solutions because they've been preconditioned not to. Rupert Murdochs of the world got out ahead of that line of thinking and said, hey, these people who follow us are eventually going to realize we're fucking them. And they're sick and they're old and they're still poor, even though they voted for Republicans their whole life. We need to explain this somehow, and we need to promise them some shit. And they'll believe in anything because they're church people. You know what I mean. We'll promise them med beds that way and keep them in a state of suspended hope. They always think the med beds are coming, so they don't need health care. Because these are also a group of people who tend to prefer hypothetical perfect solutions to workable real life ones. And healthcare systems are imperfect. If it wasn't so maddening, I'd be impressed. Like, think of yourself as a billionaire. If you don't give a shit about anybody else, you don't want to pay for someone else's healthcare because you don't know them. I don't want any. I want to make more money. I want to open a new restaurant. I want another jet. What I don't want is to pay for someone else to stay alive longer. That is just going to be a drain on my pocketbook. So I need to trick them into wanting something other than healthcare that I have to pay for. The solution is I'll tell them med beds exist, but that the people who are in Washington who are trying to loot my Scrooge McDuck money bin to pay for healthcare are the ones holding it back. And it's a cartoonish plan. It's something a child should be able to see through, and yet it's been incredibly effective. And sometimes I feel like I'm the stupid one for not taking advantage of it. Like, for not grifting these people who are apparently possible to infinitely grift. Who never, ever, ever get wise to it. All you have to do is say Jesus a bunch of times and assure them that you're also racist in exactly the same way. Will it stay up this time? It will. No, it won't. I lied. It was once said by Hungry Santa that religion is what keeps the poor from eating the wealthy. From killing them, I guess. Not literally cannibalizing. He's coming to fuck me. Oh, he's mad and he's horny. He's horngry. Hungry, mad, and horny. Your mixtures of emotions ever make you laugh when you realize you're being a silly person? Like, independently of anyone telling it to you? Well, I'm not getting that one. It's fine. As long as it doesn't reload. Could I rewound that? I could have probably paused it. I don't see any way this doesn't wind up with just a lot of homeless, angry people. The reason it hasn't already gone south is because most of those homeless, angry people were not formerly wealthy. Once most of them were formerly wealthy and have lost a lot more and are not people willingly living on the streets in order to use fentanyl, then there will be a real problem because a lot of the new homeless will have guns. Fuck. I didn't even see that. We gotta get the fuck out of here now. Nope, I wasted that one. Nothing to be done about it. I'll have to come back for that later. Clock keeps ticking even when you have it paused. What the fuck is that bullshit? Can you believe that? Oh shit, I wish I'd saved it. Oh, I have one. "60 seconds remaining." No, I'm not gonna make it. Wow, that was a long fall. Missed a bunch of fucking goodies. It has to be that way. Otherwise we're not making it past this level. You should at least unlock the next one. You can always go back and grind. These are not fun levels to grind though. Oh fuck, it's one of these. This isn't so bad. Oops. Come on. Yeah, bitches. All the gold though where I can't get it. All the gold though where I can't get it. I guess you just live with it. That wasn't so bad. Oh, the underground stage. And then there's a factory after this. I guess I'll just wait until the end to get the Giga vacuum, because you only need that to get the secrets. Why is it raining in underground? We're underground, it's raining. Why is it raining? I'm not complaining, I like video game rain, but it doesn't make sense. Doesn't seem to have, oh, that's for my time crystals, not for my sweeper. I have to upgrade my sweeper for that, don't I? Oh, fuck. Oh, I don't like that. Pretty standard platformer levels. Some of them are different. Some of them like the Time City. It's got 2 Time Cities though. I think the 2 after this are the snow level. Underground level, snow level, temple level. Oops. I'm out of ammo. Well, I guess that's not what you do. I guess it come, or there would have been enough if I hadn't written over one of them. So I talked to someone on Reddit. I know I'm already a mistake, but they work in the entertainment industry in a capacity where they would have spoken to the kind of people I would need to get in touch with if I wanted to make a pitch for like a Netflix or Amazon type thing. And they said now's not the time for AI content because people are still angry about it. but that it could be used not as the content itself, but as a pitch to put together the money for a real production. I don't know what the next step is, though. Who to go to and who to talk to. I've got a lot of content I'm sitting on, and a lot of it's really good. So the idea is you use the AI thing as a visualization of what you want to create. And then if they decide it's worthy, they put together the money to actually film it properly. Well, I'm not going anywhere like that. I need a pause at least. I need a mega vacuum for that too. Looks like we're doing more grinding, boys. Grinding's back on the menu. Well, you really packed this area, didn't you? Nope. Well, time to leave the level and buy a bunch of hearts, I guess. Fuck, I love OG Xbox. This is making me happy. Is that cringe? I guess I was looking in the wrong place for nostalgia. This was a good time in my life. I was having lots of sex when I was around this time. 18, 19, 20. I was in a committed relationship too. It's the happiest man ever is. School was school, but it was easy. I was doing high school completion because my whole family moved to or pulled me out of school planning to move to fucking Iowa, and then didn't do it because the job offer didn't materialize. But then I needed to finish school, and I'd been pulled out for too long to complete at the school I went to without repeating a year. So I did community college to high school completion. And there was a girl there I only in retrospect realized liked me, but I was oblivious to why she was acting affectionate but also rebuffing my advances. It's because I was 17. Why did that not occur to me? She had an Atari Jaguar and we traded games. I found the one chick in community college with a Jaguar. I don't know if she wanted the D. She was like always tussling my hair and shit like I was a dog. I guess I was a cute kid for a while until I became this grizzled old fucking leather muppet of a boomer that I am now. I wish you could buy time crystals at the shop. I guess that'd make life too easy. I was embarrassed to be there because I wanted to graduate alongside my friends. What few I had. But in retrospect, it was one of the better times of my life because the bullying was much reduced, except for Surat, that one fucking asshole. Because I was around adults, and adults bully less, having grown the capacity to empathize. And I was intellectually on their level, even though I wasn't emotionally. So for the most part, we understood each other. Well, that didn't work. I loved learning stuff. I loved history most of all. Studying history is fun as hell. Mostly the wars. I'm missing something. What am I missing? Pause. I haven't killed any of the monsters. I don't have pause. Pause. Haha. This looks so pretty. Why is this game not remastered? You know, this also feels like a half-step console, in the same way PC Engine, Dreamcast were. This was a half-step between 6th and 7th gen. I seem to have identified some of the uniting threads behind my favorite platforms. They're all half-steps that were misunderstood and never got to live up to their potential. Oh, that's a shame. I was good at writing. I used to wait until 2 hours before my essays were due to write them. And I also used to write essays for other people for $20. I did a lot of side work at community college. A lot of it was installing mod chips in Xboxes. That's one of the reasons I love that platform so much. It was really easy to mod. It's a PC inside. I would write essays, which I guess was cheating, helping them cheat. I'm a hypocrite, aren't I? I consider myself an honest person. I didn't cheat, I had no need to. I've helped a bunch of friends with essays. I didn't charge them all, though. There we go. I got a pause. I didn't do any solder jobs. I waited for a no solder chip. Which the downside of those is that if you move your Xbox at all, vibrate it, the pins lose contact. So you have to open it up and reseat the chip. But basically you just screw it down and it would have pogo pins that would touch different parts of the motherboard. I remember feeling like a wizard back then because I even knew about shit like that. I've been pirating games since Atari 2600. My dad had a flash cart for that. There were pirate devices for NES and Genesis and shit like that. I used to run emulators on Xbox on break. And people were amazed. They're like, how are you playing N64 on an Xbox? And when I showed them my little operating system on Game Boy Advance running off a flash cartridge that could listen to MP3s and read text files and look at images, they were like, whoa. You're how do you know more about this shit than I do? And you're like 17 or 18 by that time. I was at a GP32 around that time, which seemed like magic to some people. I could have made a business out of it if I'd been willing to possibly get arrested. Depending on how vindictive Nintendo felt at the moment. A lot of people did. There was one other guy, a fat Asian guy, selling burned PS1 games in high school, and then there was another guy who was white. I want to say French. He had a weird accent. I don't know for sure. He was bald and older than everybody else. Who was selling burned Xbox games that he also printed labels for them. They look like the real thing. Not to knock his product, he had a label printer, so they looked exactly like the ones you buy from the store, and he sold them for $5 a piece. So I wasn't the only game in town either. Where'd he go? Where did he go? Did I send him to the pits of hell? Is he in the abyss now? Where did he go? He fell down into the pit and then he just never came back. Here we go. There we go. It takes him, I guess, a long time to fall. That's kind of funny, kind of morbid. Life was good for a time. Games were good. I was getting more success with women than I'd ever had in my life. Which was much needed emotional balm after middle school where I got no fucking action at all because I was stupid. There was a girl who liked me in middle school. I had no idea she liked me until it was over. I guess maybe part of me realized, but I was a coward. I regret being a coward more than anything else. I just always got nervous when she would be affectionate towards me. She'd ask if I liked her, and I would lie about it because I didn't want her to know. Why did I not want her to know? What ill would come from that? Only good things would come from that. I could have been so happy so much sooner. Just being less developed made me very childlike about romance and very anxious about it when I shouldn't have been. I should have been like, yeah, hell yeah. Present thy cheeks and I shall clap them. Fair maiden. She was a Latina too. She was so good to me and I was so bad to her. I mean, I wasn't mean to her. We hung out and we were friends, but I treated her like a man. Like a male friend. That's not what I wanted to happen. There's no coming back from that. You're just permanently dead. Oh fuck. Nope, that's not what I needed. Maybe I can make one. That should be enough. That's the flaw of this game. You're too dependent upon crystals, which you can fuck up really easily. If they didn't use the crystals, though, what would be the point of the game? Running out of time already. Go away. Go away. I don't have a lot of time. Oh shit. Is it one of these? Okay, no, I pushed that one. But there's still a third one. What the fuck, man? How does that work? It's a fish door. Do I have to rewind that? I'm not gonna make it. How do I open this? How do I open this? I don't know. Fuck. Oh, well. I want to lose another heart. You know what? I'm tired. We got 10 more minutes left, and I don't want to play this more. I'm gonna look up the solution on the internet because I'm a big baby and baby want pizza. Baby want milk. Baby want milkies. Baby want pizza. And to sleep and to cuddle with my cat, which is one of the upsides of this cold weather. She's been burrowing under the covers with me every night lately. It's purely a utilitarian relationship. I know she loves me because sometimes she'll just electively, when she has nothing to gain from it, she'll run up, jump up on my lap and rub her whole body up against my chest and purr and look up at me just lovingly. So I know there's emotion there, but sometimes I feel used because I want her to cuddle under the covers, and sometimes she does. Sometimes she does want to cuddle, but sometimes she just wants to warm herself before she goes back outside. She'll come in, freezing cold, drenched with rain, burrow under the covers with me, get everything all wet and cold, and then get warm as much as she can, and then go back out to do whatever the fuck shady nighttime cat crimes she was up to. That was a good time. I'm having fun retreading these Xbox classics. I think I'll keep doing that for a while. There's nothing really good that strikes me. Doesn't jump out at me on Itch.io lately. I'm sure that'll change by the time we're through all these classic Xbox games. There'll be some indie spoop to wet our whistles. Look for that further Xbox games on Wednesday, which is when I'll be back next. Same ham time, same ham channel. That's 7 o'clock p.m. West Coast time to 11 o'clock p.m. This is your friendly neighborhood handout signing off and returning you to regularly scheduled sleepy time.